Hi guys, Political Junkie 2414 here, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing my final prediction for the 2023 gubernatorial elections, one of which has already been settled, that one being Louisiana, where Democratic Governor John Bel Edwards was termed out, and Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry won the open race, so he has not been sworn in yet, but Landry will become governor. He won the jungle primary on October 14th. I forgot to make an updated video for that, but I did make a what's the word? An updated governor prediction. I believe it was either last week or the weekend before. But I talked about Kentucky and Mississippi, which are the two races remaining. They are the really, the two more important ones than Louisiana, and they were always kind of viewed that way. But we're going to be talking about them. We have very interesting races here, but I'm pretty comfortable with my takes in both of these races. I don't think I'm putting, I'm really, I don't really think I have any hot takes here. So we're going to start off with Mississippi, where we're going to see Tate Reeves face off against Brandon Presley, the Democratic nominee. Tate Reeves is a very unpopular governor, and he was viewed as very vulnerable, but Republicans kind of made sure that he did not face a lot of primary opposition. Um, and they got lucky. Brandon Presley's been running a very, more conservative, moderate kind of Democrat, um, you know, sort of campaign, and he's been focusing on Reeves's corruption and his scandals. But unfortunately for him, it really just seems like Mississippi is not ready to budge for the Democrats. Brandon Presley is a decent candidate in my eyes, but he's running, in a year that isn't even a midterm, and he's, a white Democrat running for governor in a state that has notoriously low voter turnout, or a very long history of voter suppression. And I think even though this is a governor's race and it's a pretty big election for Mississippi, and while Brandon Presley is going to get some Trump voters and some typical Republican voters to vote for him, I don't think that he really has much of a shot. I thought he did, like early, at the beginning of this year. I remember the first prediction I made, I said this race could get actually pretty interesting. But it doesn't really seem like much has happened for Presley. It really seems like Tate Reeves is winning because he's a Republican, not because he's Tate Reeves. A lot of Republicans don't like him, but they are going to stick with him no matter what. Now, Presley, I do think, is going to come within, say, I think there's a good chance he brings it down to like a 5 point margin, like the last Democratic nominee for governor did against Reeves in 2019, Jim Hood. But he was also the Attorney General. He was the last remaining statewide Dem in Mississippi at the time, and he only was able to get 47% of the vote, despite being a that being historically a very strong candidate. But I think that just the overall polarization of politics is going to make it very hard for Brandon Presley to win. I don't think Democrats have put enough focus on this race. There are several factors I think that are inhibiting Presley here, but at the end of the day, I really do think that Tate Reeves, despite his unpopularity, is really going to um, win by around, say, 8 to 9 points, could be 10. I don't think he's going to blow out Presley in this race, but I don't think that Presley's going to come relative, exceptionally close. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe on Tuesday night we'll see this race tighten up, but at the end of the day, I think I'm pretty confident in saying Tate Reeves will be reelected governor. But in Kentucky, we have a Democratic incumbent, Andy Beshear, the most popular Democratic governor in the nation by approval rating. Um, and he is running for re-election in a state that Donald Trump won by 26 points in 2020, but he is doing very well against the Attorney General of the state, Daniel Cameron, who is the Republican nominee. Beshear beat Matt Bevin in 2019, who was a very unpopular incumbent. And while Kentucky the voter turnout doesn't look great for Bashir. I think it looks more Republican than it did in 2019. Bashir's very popular among Republican voters in the state and among independents and obviously Democrats. Will he get, I think his approval is around 60 or something, 60%, last time I checked. Will he get 60% of the vote? Hell no. But I think that he will get just enough, um, crossover support from Republicans to win re-election. um, he has really got a lot going for him, and Daniel Cameron doesn't seem to be hasn't seemed to be able to break through. A lot of his own campaign polls and a lot of Republican sponsored polls have been showing him down to Bashir. Bashir plus 6, Bashir plus 7, Bashir plus 2, Bashir plus 16 from Emerson. I don't buy that. This most recent poll from Emerson showed it tied, which shows maybe there's some tightening of the race. This is going to be a close race. I mean, don't get me wrong, Bashir's not going to win in a blowout, and there is still some level of polarization here, but governor's races are very different from federal races. I mean, we saw Kansas reelect their Democratic Governor Laura Kelly last year against a Republican Attorney General. Does that set of circumstances sound familiar? If it does, it's because it's what's happening right now in Kentucky. And I think, if I had to, put a margin on it, I'd say Bashir wins by 3 to 4 points. I don't want to go crazy. A lot of people have been saying, "Oh, he's going to win by like 7 or 8." I don't think he's going to go. He's going to win by that much. He could, but just because of this more recent poll, and again, polls aren't everything. Um, the voter turnout does matter, and obviously polls were very wrong in 2022 and 2020 and a bunch of other election cycles. I want to make that clear. I don't, think polling's everything, but I think to some extent it does give us a good idea of where things are. And the fact that Daniel Cameron hasn't even led in a single poll yet, even among Republican leaning pollsters, I think that's a really bad sign for him. So I do think that Bashir will be able to get ancestral Democrats to vote for him. His dad was governor. He was a very popular governor. Bashir, rode um, on he translated his campaign for attorney general, or his I guess work as attorney general, into a platform for him to run on. Uh, Kentucky State Attorney General, I mean, but he took that and, put it on his platform for 2019 when he was running for governor, and he was able to win against an unpopular incumbent despite not being up in most of the polls above before election day. Um, and I think that now he is in a better spot. I think that there was some concern among me, maybe a year ago, but I think since we've seen uh, Laura Kelly win, and just how governor's races can be kind of weird, and Democrats also doing pretty well in localized races like state legislative races and the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. I don't think they're in a particularly bad spot, um, for the national environment right now. I'd say the environment, seems to be pretty Democratic leaning. Um, so I think that Kentucky will reelect Andy Bashir. But anyways, this is my final prediction. Louisiana has already been settled, but obviously I'm just putting it here as safe Republican. Mississippi, putting it as likely red. Tate Reeves wins re-election despite his unpopularity. Brandon Presley, maybe comes probably comes within 10 points of winning, but still does not come exceptionally close. Does not make it a squeaker. And then in Kentucky, Andy Bashir narrowly wins re-election against Republican Attorney General Daniel Cameron, probably by around 3 to 4 points. Obviously, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that people who think Brandon Presley is going to win are wrong, or if people who think Daniel Cameron is going to win in Kentucky are wrong. I am just putting out my own opinion. I think that most people agree with this set of um, with this map. And in fact, let me see if I can pull up a map of the governor's mansions so that we can get like an idea of where we would be after the 2023 governor elections. Let me just fill in all the states for the Dems. Kansas has a Democratic governor, as I mentioned. And by the way, if you're wondering what I'm using, YapMems is a site. I've used it previously. but it's a political website. Recently it got updated, and I've decided to move over to the new version. Um, so yeah, and I'll just fill this out. So this is what the governor or National Governors Association will look like, which is after 2023, which is a fancy word of saying what states, like out of all 50 states, what how many do Republicans hold, how many do Democrats hold. So yeah, this is what it would look like if my prediction doesn't end up coming true. We know Louisiana's going to stay red. Mississippi, I'm pretty confident will stay red. And Kentucky, not as confident. I think it's really the race to watch out for here. Could Daniel Cameron win? Absolutely, but I don't think he has it in him against Andy Beshear, at least as of right now. But we'll see. So, this would put Republicans only gaining one seat from Louisiana. This is what the map looks like right now, which, this was after 2022. Bell Edwards hasn't resigned or hasn't, left office yet. But when he does, Jeff Landry will become governor. So, anyways, yeah, this is what I think is going to happen in 2023 on election day. Um, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to cover like the Virginia state legislative elections or anything else. Any of the other important races. I've just been really busy, and I do intend to get back to making more political videos. I mean to make an updated Senate prediction, updated House prediction. There's a lot that I want to do. I wanted to go back to doing some more Senate in-depth analysis videos. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Um, share this content with someone who you think would enjoy it. Check out my non-political channel, Interactor127, and my comrades channel, Growlingzoo666. And yeah, I think that's all I gotta say. Thank you all, and I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things politics. See ya. Oh, and don't forget to vote if you're in if you're in Kentucky or Mississippi or any other state that's holding an election. I don't know. I'm sure most states are, but the important ones, especially people in the very important states, you especially should go out and vote. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye.